Meanwhile, U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland is in southern Nevada today, meeting with his law enforcement counterparts in the state. On the agenda, several crime issues affecting our state, including gun smuggling, drug trafficking, and threats of violence to state and federal officials. Garland praised the Nevada office for getting a 10-year sentence for a man who used social media to distribute potentially lethal fentanyl.
He was initially arrested when law enforcement officers caught him transporting 30,000 pills from Phoenix to Las Vegas. Investigators soon discovered that he had conspired to distribute hundreds of thousands of fentanyl pills throughout the country.
And Garland also praised the conviction of a Las Vegas man who sold more than 200 guns without a federal firearms license, one of which was used to kill a California sheriff's deputy.